Hello, welcome back to day 4 of our 30-day yoga challenge. Now, the last few videos were a little intensive, so if you're just starting out, you might be feeling very sore in the arms or stiff maybe in the hips or back. So we're going to address all those areas today, kind of giving us a little bit of a rest day while we increase our flexibility and work on opening up our hips to increase our yoga practice. This is day 4 of my 30-day yoga challenge, and to see the complete series available now, check out Psychetruth Plus. When you're ready, I'll meet you on your mat. So we're going to begin today with nadi shodhana breathing, one of the various pranayama breathing exercises, which are very, very useful in controlling the prana, or the life force energy that is in us and around us. And learning how to cultivate that can help us reduce our anxiety, our depression, balance out our moods, and control the nervous system. So while we are working in this series to increase our physical body and flexibility and strength and all those beautiful benefits, also really targeting the mind and our ability to calm and bring ourselves to a focused, balanced state. So seated in a nice upright position, you can either come to sit on a pillow. I like to fold the pillow in half to make sure my hips are higher than my knees. But if sitting on the floor is difficult, you could always sit in a chair, just again making sure you're seated upright, nice straight spine, and have your feet planted on the floor. All right, so let's roll the shoulders slightly back, sit up nice and tall, close the eyes and start to look out through your third eye, the point between the eyebrows, and begin to breathe nice and slow in through the nose and out through the nose. Coming into your body, letting go of your morning or your day, and starting to just tune in somatically to what experiences and sensations might be arising in the body, bringing the mind to the present moment as you breathe in and out through the nose. Now there's thousands of energy channels or nadis that run through the body. And this breathing exercise is going to help to balance the left and the right side and bring all the energy channels into union. So taking the thumb outside of the right nostril and the ring finger outside of the left nostril, we're going to alternate breathing in, holding the breath, breathing out, and then holding the breath. Kind of like the 4-sided breath we practiced in day 2 of this challenge. So come into the proper position with the fingers, and when you're ready, press the ring finger into the left nostril and start to inhale through the right for 4 counts. And then squeeze the thumb on the right nostril, hold the breath for 4 counts. And then release the ring finger and exhale out the left nostril for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then plug the nose, holding 3, 2, 1. This time we're going to inhale through the left nostril, 3, 2, 1, and hold, 3, 2, 1. Release the thumb, exhale out the right side, 2, 1, and hold, 3, 2, 1. Take a few more rounds like this, inhaling through the right and holding at the top of the inhale. And then exhaling out the left, and then holding at the bottom of the exhale. Coming in through the left again, and holding. The reason why we hold is to allow the air to really access the deep recesses of the lungs and recycle all that stale air, allowing fresh prana and fresh oxygen to come into the body. Last round, breathing in through the right, and hold, and exhaling out the left, and hold. Last time, breathing in through the left, sitting up nice and straight still, and hold, and then breathing out the right, and hold. Now release the hand back down to your thigh. Take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose at a normal pace. And just notice if you start to feel more relaxed than you did at the start of this video, or maybe any other thoughts or feelings that might have arisen. Just notice them without judgment as we're starting to train ourselves to observe the mind rather than identify with all of our thoughts. When you're ready, let's blink the eyes back open. Come back into the room. And then inhale the arms out to the side. Let's cross the right arm over the body, left arm hooks underneath, and gently start to pull the right arm towards the body, feeling an amazing stretch on the outside of the shoulders that might be sore from the last video of all those chaturangas and planks and down dogs. Nice deep breaths here, sitting up nice and tall, tucking the belly in. And then rotating that right arm towards the sky, elbow lifts, grab for the tricep and start to pull that arm towards the center behind the head, really feeling a nice tricep stretch on the right side. Still staying nice and relaxed as we breathe and stretch, pulling as little or as much as you need to feel this immense stretch on the back of the triceps. And then slowly release. Let's inhale again, arms out to the side. This time, left hand crosses over the body, right elbow hooks under. And then again, just use your arm strength to pull that left hand closer behind you. And then when you're ready, flipping that left elbow up, grabbing just behind the elbow on the tricep, and then pulling it in towards the center. The left hand can reach for the middle of the back. And just noticing if you're still sitting upright or if you've started to slouch. Breathing into any tightness or discomfort, knowing that you can send that prana that we just cultivated to any area of tightness. And then slowly release, shake it out, and let's meet in a tabletop position, removing any props or blocks out of the way. Now come up to all fours, making sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. Spread those fingers nice and wide, and on an inhale, start to look up, pressing the chest in between the arms and lifting the hips up to the sky for cow pose. Big arching of the back here. On your exhale, start to round up, pressing into the palms to broaden the shoulder blades and tucking everything in like a little scared cat, sucking the belly in, tucking the chin here, rounding the spine. Inhale, coming through cow, moving at the speed of your breath. And then exhale, reversing that arch with a rounded spine here for cat. And just moving through some rounds. This is really great for increasing spinal flexibility, sending some fluid into the vertebrae and through the spinal cord. Last round. Nice deep breaths as we move. Beautiful. And then coming back to a neutral. Now we're going to work a little bit into our core and start to engage the whole body. So on your inhale, extend the left arm out in front of you. Right leg can either stay straight with the toe touching or start to lift the leg off the floor. Inhale, grow long through both limbs, energy shooting out the fingertips and toes, and engage the core muscles, slightly tucking the tailbone under so we're not arching too much into the low back, but rather keeping a straight, flat back. Inhale, grow a little longer. And exhale, tuck it in, elbow to knee, rounding the spine like we just did in cat pose. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, tuck it in. Inhale, grow long. And now place the left hand back down on the mat, bend the knee, and start to lift the leg up slightly. Little pulses here to start working the glute muscles and getting a nice toned booty here. Breathing through all the movement. And then slowly release it back down to the mat. Let's spread the knees wide, press it back for just a breath in child's pose. So bringing the forehead down on the mat, starting to breathe into our hips here. If you need to rock left and right, you can. And starting to stretch the low back as we open up those hips. And come back to the breath and reground here. On your next inhale, let's press back up, neutral tabletop position, and we'll take the other side. So on an inhale, right arm shoots out in front of you, left leg again can either stay grounded or lift. And really press into that left palm to push the mat away from you and stay lifted here. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, tuck it in, elbow to knee, squeezing everything up as high as you can, trying to lift that heel up towards the glutes. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it in, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend, and then dropping that right arm down. Again, bend that knee and take little pulses, lifting that heel up to the sky here. Notice if your weight is kind of shifting to the left or right. Try to stay right on top of that right leg. As we lift for 3, 2, 1, drop it down. Again, spread those knees wide, press it back, kind of feeling into the hips here for just a breath or two in child's pose. Slowly start to lift yourself up, sitting back onto the heels as you round up through the spine and round those shoulders back. All right, now we're gonna work on our half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana, really increasing that flexibility in the hamstrings and starting to work on our split preparation. So if you have some blocks, why don't you go ahead and grab those so we can have them nice and handy. And if you don't have blocks at home, you could always use a pillow or cushion or maybe some type of book or something thick that you can prop underneath yourself. All right. So coming onto the knees here, let's extend the left leg out in front of us, come to the fingertips. Inhale, lift the chest halfway, growing long through the spine. And then exhale, start to lower down over that left leg. You can bring the hands kind of underneath the shoulders here, flexing that foot up to the sky. Just really feeling that extreme stretch along the back side of the left leg. Notice too where your hips are. If you're really far forward and kind of out of alignment, send that heel back so that both hips are in one line. Nice deep breaths here as we stretch. This is a great posture to practice any time of the day, just to really wake up the hamstring and calves. Then either stay here or a little splits preview. If you'd like to start working on your full splits, press into the hands and start to lift the right knee off the mat, maybe sliding the legs apart as you come into splits. So the reason why we have our blocks here is because we can prop ourselves up on them and work on our splits from there. So as you slide out of half splits, you can take a block either underneath the groin or underneath both legs if needed. And you can go on any height, maybe start off, I'm just gonna use the one for now. Starting off on the high setting, you're all the way up here, and then over time working down and just feeling where you're at. And eventually you'll come down to the lowest setting, and then eventually you won't need it at all. So wherever you're at today, I'll hang out here with you guys. Come into your full splits for just a moment and work on that breath to body connection that we've been trying to cultivate. So deep breaths in through the nose, send your breath to any part of the body that feels tight, the hamstrings, the hips. Imagining that area expanding, loosening up, and allowing yourself to sink a little bit further into the pose. And as you breathe, right away, maybe you might be able to remove that block and get a little deeper. I just want to show you kind of where we can go with this. But starting out in our half splits is the perfect way to start warming up the back of the leg. And we're going to do some other hip openers as well to get you further along in your splits practice. So if you were in your full splits, remove any blocks out of the way, press back up, and bring your knee back to meet the other one. Let's come up onto the knees for just a moment, spreading them about hips width distance apart, and placing the hands on the low back. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders together, and just lift the chest for a little back bend here, counter stretch, counter pose. Exhale, let's come back, and we'll do the other side. So coming onto the fingertips, let's kick the right leg out in front of us. And again, first work on your alignment. Send the hip back in line with the other hip. And just feel nice and sturdy on both legs here. Flexing that right foot up to the sky. Inhale, grow long through the spine. And exhale, start to drop the upper body down towards the right leg. Connecting back with the breath. Making sure the shoulders are relaxed, not hunched up by the ears. And then either stay here or maybe start to slide both legs away from one another, grabbing our block for support, and practicing Hanumanasana full splits. So Hanuman is the Hindu god, the monkey god, which if you've ever wondered what my statue in the back is, that is Hanuman. And one of the components or attributes, I should say, of Hanuman is that he always forgets that he's a god. He's very forgetful. And I can relate to that a lot, and I'm sure you can as well, where we know we have so much power and potential inside of us. We are basically like our own gods, but we forget. We get, caught up in our daily rigmarole and, planning and just that busy monkey mind. And we forget our strength and our power and who we really are. So as you practice these splits, whether you're easily going into them or maybe suffering through them, try to channel that inner God. Remember how amazing and powerful you are in the spirit of Hanuman. All right, now we're moving the blocks away. Let's come back up, come back to the knees. And again, let's take that little counter stretch, placing the hands on the low back, pressing the hips forward, and inhaling the chest up to the sky as we squeeze the shoulder blades together behind us. Exhale, slowly release. And let's come into our downward facing dog that we did in our last video. So fingertips spread nice and wide on the mat, coming onto the feet, lift those hips nice and high, and just give yourself a nice big stretch here in our down dog. Now that the hamstrings and calves might be more warmed up, you should find your down dog a little easier to get into. Tucking the belly in, relaxing the neck and shoulders. Nice deep breaths here as we lift those hips high and try to get the heels down to touch the mat. On your next inhale, let's bring the left leg to the top of the mat, bending the knee and sending it just outside the left wrist, settling into our hips here for pigeon. Now in the last video, we worked on our reclining pigeon, lying on your back and bringing the knees towards the chest. So if this doesn't feel good to you, you can always return back and practice the reclining version of this pose. So squaring the hips off to the front of the mat, inhale, grow long through the spine, and on your exhale, start to shift the weight forward, maybe staying on the hands or maybe coming down onto the forearms. Now you should be feeling an extreme stretch on the left outer hip and glute muscle. And then hang out here while I talk, by the way. Bringing the heel slightly closer into the groin should be a little easier to get into this position. And then over time, you can work to push the heel away from you, eventually getting that shin to parallel the top of the mat. So wherever you're at today, just knowing that that's somewhere to work towards. And then if you're comfortable here laying on your forearms, you could always drop down to the forehead, either bringing it to the hands or maybe extending the arms out in front of you and coming to the forehead. Just taking nice deep breaths here as you breathe into the hips. We store a lot of emotions in our hips, so in big postures like this where we're releasing a lot of energy, you might notice some thoughts or feelings start to rise up to the surface. Again, just notice them without judgment, kind of like clouds passing by, knowing that they're going to keep coming and keep going, and just be the observer. Last breath here, seeing if you can sink a little deeper. And then when you're ready, start to press back into the hands, tuck the right toes under, lift the knee up, and then slowly kick back, downward facing dog. Now if you need to rotate the hip around a little and kind of stretch it out, please do so. A few breaths here, sending the chest in between the arms and eventually getting the head to touch the mat. Inhale, the right leg lifts and send it forward. Again, the knee comes just outside the wrist here as we settle in to our pigeon on the other side. Maybe bounce a few times, feel kind of buoyant, make sure that you've got everything aligned properly. And if you want to look back to your back leg, it should just be jetting out right behind you. So it sometimes kind of goes a little too far to the left or right. See if you can get it right underneath you. And you might be all the way up here, maybe grabbing a block, putting it under your thigh, and sitting there as you work your way into pigeon. Inhale, grow long through the spine, and exhale, send the body forward, either through the palms, to the forearms, or the forehead. Again, deep breaths here as you allow yourself to get heavy into the mat, into the floor, knowing that you're supported by Mother Earth, by the ground. Just always coming back to the breath. From the last few videos, you might also feel really sore on this outer hip region. So this is a really great posture to do after any rigorous asana practice. One more breath here. And then as you're ready, walk the hands back up and pressing into the palms, lift that back leg off the mat and then slowly bring it back. Maybe rotating the hips, shaking it out, coming back, downward facing dog. On an inhale, with a wave-like motion, start to shift the weight forward, rounding the back like we did in cat pose and coming to plank position. I need to walk my hands out a little bit so I can come into a proper plank. Wrists underneath the shoulders, engaging everything here. And then let's tuck the elbows in, shift the weight forward, round the shoulders back, and slowly lower all the way down to the mat like one straight plank board. Beautiful. And when you're there, release the toes, and we're gonna roll onto our back. Now just kind of roll onto your back as gracefully as possible. Bend the feet, have the knees facing the ceiling. So our last new pose of this video is going to be Happy Baby, one of my favorite postures, great hip opener, and just feels so good to do at the end of a class. So start to lift the feet off the mat, bring the arms in between the legs, and grab for the outsides of the feet. Now you might have to lift the tailbone off the mat to grab those feet, and then slowly work to bring the tailbone back down. Now we're using our arm muscles to pull the legs apart, trying to get those knees down towards the mat and feeling that extreme hip opening stretch here. If you'd like to rock left and right, you can. Kind of helps open up the knees a little bit wider. And then just settling back into the center, Relax the shoulders and the head and kind of push them into the mat here as you pull the feet closer and the knees closer to the ground. Now take a moment here, maybe close your eyes and think about a little happy baby. How free they are, how unencumbered, not worried about their day or what's to come or what just happened, but just completely present and happy. Know that that part of you is really available at any time. We've kind of covered it up, layered it with things that stress us out, different experiences we've had. But really that little happy baby is inside of you, just waiting to giggle and express itself. So I like to think about that in this posture. Maybe bring a big smile to your face and imagine yourself as that free, happy little baby. And then as you're ready, let's release the grip. Bring the feet back to the floor. And you can take a few moments if you like in Shavasana, resting and allowing the body to incorporate all the movement and stretching we just did. Or if you're ready to go on with your day, just slowly come back up to a seated position. And rolling the shoulders back when you arrive, sitting up nice and tall and blinking the eyes open. Well, congratulations. You just finished day 4 out of 30, so we're getting there, and I hope you're starting to feel invigorated and energized and noticing some slight changes in the body and in the mind. Again, I'd like to encourage you to keep a log and kind of track how you're feeling throughout this 30-day process. So notice how this breathing exercise at the beginning of this video made you feel, and just all these stretches and hip openers, maybe where you're at, so that you can see where you get to at the end of these 30 days. Drink some extra water too, as you might be a little bit sore from today. Now remember, if you want to see the full 30-day challenge, it is available now at Psychetruth Plus, and you should be able to find that link at the top of the comment section. I would really love to hear your feedback and comments on this video, how you felt about the breathing exercise and all these stretches. Please leave your comments below. And if you'd like to learn more about me and my practice, please visit my website, comingom.com. Drink extra water, as you'll probably be a little sore from opening up those hips, and I will see you soon on your mat. Namaste.
With hundreds of videos that you can stream on virtually any device to help you reduce stress, lose weight, or just improve your health and well-being overall. At WellnessPLUS.tv, we are dedicated to helping you on your health and wellness journey. Join WellnessPLUS.tv to find hundreds of videos to help you improve the health of your body and your mind. WellnessPLUS.tv. Get well, feel better.